من امباسادورز كورنر، يوم جديد، سيجمنت وعدتكم انه بطل في عليكم مشاهدينا كل اسبوع. انا جويل بقول لكم صباح الخيرات والبركات. بيسعدني اليوم انا وياكم اكيد من بعد ما نكون عم نستقبل سعادة سفير النروج في لبنان السيدة هيلدي هارالستاد. Good morning.
صباح الخير جويل.
Excellency, Ambassador of Norway to Lebanon and Chargé d'Affaires in Syria. بيسعدني أنا وياكم نعمل virtual trip لنوروي، نكتشف النروج بطبيعتها الخلابة، بمناظر ومعالمها التاريخية والسياحية الحلوة كتير. أكيد بدنا نسافر كمان نحن وياكم بفيرتشوال تريب على العاصمة، عاصمة نروج اللي بتنبض بالحياة، عاصمة العالم يلي كتير حلوة، بتشبهنا نحن كشعب لبناني. أنا وسعادة السفيرة Her Excellency Mrs. هيلدي رح نكون عم نكتشف هالبلد الحلو يلي بينبض بالحياة وأكيد بالأعمال الخيرية جدا. Your Excellency, finally, it's my great honor today hosting you in our OTV platform. Our TV that is always honored and pleased hosting ambassadors from across the globe, getting to know more through this Ambassador's Corner segment about their countries and what they can offer for the audience. Welcome here in OTV, فودان هردودي.
Thank you. شكرا كثير. أنا بخير.
You're most welcome.
Working on my Arabic.
Yes, it's very good Arabic. Today, when we say Norway, the geographical features and the location of the country, if you can guide us, and if you can tell us, Excellency, about the capital. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very pleased to be here, and I'm very pleased to be Ambassador of Norway to Lebanon, representing a country far up north in Europe. Norway is one of the northernmost countries in Europe. We have very friendly relations with Lebanon. We are about 5.6 million people, almost like Lebanon, and we are part of the Scandinavian family, the Nordic countries, so we have very close contact and relations with them. We have a common border with Sweden, with Finland, but also with Russia. But Norway, actually, we have a very long coastline, so the second biggest or longest coastline in the world, actually, after Canada. So the coast is very, very important for us.
So this is the second longest coastline after Canada, you said, Excellency?
Yes, it is. It is.
Impressive.
So it's a long country, Norway, and quite a big country, but there are also many places where people don't live because we have mountains, we have yeah.
It's a very beautiful country, actually. I've been there last summer. Midsummer celebration is one of the best, and the nature is really amazing. We'll explore it with you, Excellency. Now, if you can tell us about the capital, Oslo, the central hub of education culture, what can you tell us?
Yes, I can tell you that Oslo is the capital of Norway. It's situated in the Oslo fjord. It's a vibrant city with a lot of cultural activities to be done, but it's also a city that is close to nature. So we have forest, we have mountains not far where you can go hiking. We have the sea and the fjord. So that's a very special mix, I believe. But also for Lebanon, you have some of the same. You have closeness to nature, you have also the sea, and a very vibrant cultural scene here. And when it comes to restaurants and nightlife, I'm not sure if any city can compare with Beirut. And I came a year ago, so I have been living here now for a year, and I love Beirut.
Have you explored our country in small domestic touristic spots?
I have. Yes. I have been traveling extensively around, and it's really also a variation of nature and experiences, and but also because of the conflict, I have not been able to travel to all places as much as possible, and we know that especially last fall was a very, very difficult time for Lebanon
Yes.
and for the people and for Beirut as well.
Yes.
But it's a wonderful city, and Oslo has a lot to offer also. And I know you visited, and
one of the best places I have.
Really, I'm very
indeed,
glad to hear that.
Indeed. Especially, you will tell us about the light during summer. It
Yes.
never sleeps. It's always a light country, and the sun is always there.
Yes, so when it comes to our tourist attractions, it's Norway is a country with, as I mentioned, with a lot of nature. So I would say that maybe that is the most important tourist attraction for us: the fjords, the waterfalls, the midnight sun, the northern light, and you mentioned the midnight sun, and that's especially between June and August. The sun is not setting in the northern part of Norway,
True.
so it's a very long days, very hardly dark in at midnight. In the south part of the country, it's a bit. It's not that long. There is some night in the summer or darkness, but the flip side is that in the winter it's very long nights and short days. It's very special and quite unique.
Yeah, definitely.
And also the northern light is magical if you manage to see it. It's not, we don't always know when it will be seen, but it's really worthwhile going to check it out in especially the northern part of the country.
And especially in the northern part of the country, what can you tell us about the traditions and how they celebrate the midsummer holidays? It's really beautiful.
Yes, we have. I mean, we call it Sankt Hans in Norway.
Yes.
Sweden has even almost the same, but even stronger midsummer celebration. But on the 23rd of June, when the sun turns, so this is the lightest day in the year.
Okay.
We go out. We have bonfires and celebrations, or together with family and friends. So that's a special, very special time for us.
And this is a main touristic destination for all tourists. Anything else that you would like to add about touristic spots before
Absolutely,
we move to...
yes, because the nature is a main, reason why many tourists come, but we also have very interesting architectural, we have buildings, yes, and we have now a new museum for the Norwegian most famous painter, Edvard Munch, who is the one who painted the Scream, if you know, that's
Very
the most
impressive.
well-known one. And we have a new museum with all his art, and it's amazing, in Oslo. And also we have the Nobel Peace Center that shows all the Nobel Peace Prize laureates, their history, their lives, and it's very inspiring. So I would also very much recommend to visit that. And there is also a museum for the Viking ships. That is in the outskirts of Oslo, and many people also visit the ski jump that is also in Oslo, where we have it's quite interesting also place to visit. And there you can also go into like a machine and also pretend that you do a ski jump. So it's interesting. So
very impressive, yes. And interesting, quite interesting. Excellency, for the National Day, Norway's National Day, what can you tell us or elaborate on this question?
Yes, the National Day of Norway is on the 17th of May.
Okay.
It is our Constitution Day, and it is marking the approval of the Constitution in 1814. That was a constitution, a liberal one, quite inspired by the French Revolution at that time, and it also paved the way for Norway's independence. I can come back to that. We have been in union with our neighboring countries for several centuries, but the National Day in Norway we celebrate with children, school children in the streets. They walk in the center, and the king in the royal palace greet them. So
quite
it's and it's also a day where many people put on their national costumes, and so it's a celebration. But and also here we mark the National Day of Norway, and I went actually to the south, to Ebdelsaki, town in the south of Lebanon, where we had to lay a wreath at a monument for Norwegian Unifield soldiers who lost their lives in service for peacekeeping for Lebanon. So, but we also had a very I would say, a very nice
Our best regards
reception.
from this platform to them.
Yes, thank you. And it's a very beautiful monument that have been made there also
Yes.
by the people. So the bonds are very strong between many people in our two countries. But I would also mention the reception we had for the National Day here in Beirut.
During May?
Yes, on in May with our Lebanese friends, with the government, civil society, and
It was a very
other
quite interesting
yeah, you
and
were
amazing
there.
one.
You were there,
Yes.
and we also had
Very
a
special.
Yes,
very special,
thank you. I'm
Excellency.
glad, and I'm glad you were there also. And we had a.
And I remembered your speech. You were very
do?
eloquent, yes.
Yes, thank you for that. And we had also a musical, a Norwegian violinist to play together with a Lebanese oud player. So I think that was very special also. So we try to mark this day because it's in Norway and in many, also in embassies, we hear countless speeches about not to take our freedom and democracy for granted. So it's really a day for us to celebrate our democracy also. So thank you for asking about that.
Excellency, stretching back to history, if we want to just explore history, who governed Norway over decades?
Yes.
All over history.
Yeah. Let me start by maybe I should say that I am a historian by that my degree was in modern history, so I find history so important and interesting. So I'm glad you asked about that, and I start with 1905 when Norway got its independence after 100 years of union with Sweden, and before that, almost 500 years of union with Denmark, our neighboring countries. And so we were under the Danish and the Swedish king for all these years, and we got in a very peaceful way independence in 1905, and we have very peaceful and friendly relations with our Denmark and Sweden. And I think I also have to mention the Viking age that is well known for Norway and our neighbors. So that was between approximately the 8th century AD and the 11th. And at that time, some Norwegians traveled by boats out, not always on peaceful missions, but after that, I think our country has been mostly a very peaceful country. But during the following years, before the union with Denmark, we had some, in the medieval times, some centuries with the Norwegian kings that followed each other. And I wanted to mention also that earlier this year there was a play set up here in Beirut by Christel Roder, based on a theater play written by Ibsen, Henrik Ibsen, our most well-known writer. And this play is based on a power struggle between Norwegian kings in the medieval time, and it was made. It was inspiring a play by her showed here in Beirut that was very impressive and inspiring. And I invited some of my ambassadors' colleagues to come, and we all really loved it. So that's a very interesting and positive. Just an example of many of the cultural cooperations we also have. And there is more to say about the history of Norway, and maybe I should say a few words about the elections also,
yes,
because the current
elections, yes,
we had
the elections that happened.
Yes, on Monday this week we had parliament elections, and we have every 4th year we have a parliament election, and every 4th year local elections. So on Monday we had parliament elections, for the parliament, and the government or the party and the prime minister who has been in power for the last 4 years, they got the most votes. So it's the Social Democratic Labour Party, and they got in the...
So the Labour Party took over?
No, they were in power for the last 4 years, and they won deal. They got the most votes. So
the most votes,
but
not to take over. Excuse me, the most votes.
Yes. So they represent. We call it the red-green bloc, and they got 88 seats, whereas the Conservative centrist bloc got 81 seats. So that means that the Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre we expect him to continue as Prime Minister, and the Social Democratic government to continue. So that was also I like to mention the turnout, because it was almost, I think, 78% of people voted. So that's important for our democracy.
Congratulations.
Thank you for that.
A very important ambassador that is a historian coming from Christian Sand, the very beautiful part of Norway. Tell us more.
Thank you. Yes, I come from the southernmost city in Norway called Kristiansand. It was actually named after a Danish king who visited during the union with Denmark, a king called Christian.
Beautiful and charming beaches.
Yes, it is actually the place in Norway with most sunny days. So in the summers, many Norwegians have holiday in the Kristiansand and the surroundings, and we swim there in the summer, even if it's the water is a bit more cold than here. But we have also archipelagos, so with many small islands outside there.
This is a call for tourists to come and visit.
It is, definitely. And also we have a new, very interesting art museum made from an old silo that was made into an art museum. But I'd like to also mention that being by the sea, it's really the maritime sector, the fishery, shipping, all this has been important for us.
And this is a wealth about Norway's oil, gas, and fishery. What can you tell us, if you can elaborate on this one, please?
Thank you. Yes, this is oil and gas is a very important part of our economy, and we discovered oil and gas Norway offshore in the late 60s, early 70s, and we managed to develop a model of the revenues and the income to benefit the whole population. So I think it has really been a blessing for us, and we have also developed a program where we share our experience on how we do this with the management of the sector, and that we had the cooperation for many years, very positive with Lebanon about that, and with other countries where we shared experiences. But now it's also very important for us. It's actually 60% of our export is oil and gas, so it's very, very high.
Mainly to which countries the export is going through?
It's to several, but the main receivers are the European countries. And then also these days we really try to also develop the renewable. We have had hydropower for a long time, but the renewable energy is a high priority also, and the green
quite
transition.
Impressive for the country. And
so that's in this time. It's very important also for the government. And I had a very good and interesting meeting with your Minister of Environment this week, where we talked also about that, about
the exchange.
Exchange of experiences, cooperations, and also the importance of this the green transition. So this is it's an important sector for us, but and also fisheries. I think it's about 10% of our export. So traditionally, with the long coastline, fishery has been very important. And we export seafood, but the salmon is the biggest export article in that sector, and even also to Lebanon we export salmon. So that's
the authentic one.
Yes,
to say the least. Yes. Well, Excellency, talking about all these activities in the country, a country that is really skyrocketing by its economy and industry, we know that women are really involved in mostly all sectors, and if I'm not mistaken, you should correct me, involved in the political sector. Women empowerment in your country, what can you tell us more, if you can delve into more ideas and you can elaborate?
Thank you. Yeah, I want to start by mentioning that we have a brochure in the Foreign Ministry of Norway that shows that when women gradually entered the workforce more and more over the last decades,
yes.
It has been more important for our economic growth and strength than the oil and gas sector even. So it's a very important part of our workforce in many different sectors.
Yes.
And that was only possible really with the policy also when it comes to kindergartens, maternity leave, and so on. So that has also been a priority for the government. And I maybe mentioned when I have twins myself, and when I was working.
I have twins too,
yes,
Excellency.
Yes.
Tell us more about the maternity leave and regulations.
Yeah, it's very important in order to be able to combine family life and career for both, I mean, for men and women. But at that time I got almost a year of maternity leave with the almost full salary, and that goes for public sector and private sector in Norway.
Yes.
So that's important. And if the both parents take part of the leave, you get more. So there are incentives also for the father to take some parental leave. So that's important. But you mentioned also women in politics, and over the years, especially the women's movement in Norway worked very actively to get women high up on the lists of the political parties so that they got into parliament. So it has been worked hard, I mean, over time, but now we have approximately 44% of women in parliament, and the last governments have been almost 50% men and women, and now in this current social democratic government that's the case. But also the conservative government that was in power some years ago had approximately 50%. And also we had at least two female prime ministers, also foreign minister and minister of defense. So we have come a long way, but we still have a lot of work to do for gender equality and when it comes to equal pay, inclusion, and equal opportunities at home and globally. So that's a priority for my government.
Yes, Norway has always been involved in conflict resolution and conflict settling globally. What can you tell us, please?
Yes, I can. And before I comment on that, I wanted to also mention it's related both to conflict resolution and to the role of women. The first time I came to Lebanon was some years ago, and there was a conference about women, peace and security. And I was part of the Nordic Women Mediators Network, and we met with the Arab Women Mediators Network and the Mediterranean Women Mediators Network, and we discussed our plans of action to follow up this UN Security Council resolution on women, peace and security, and how we can really work in our countries and internationally for that. So that was my first meeting with Lebanon, and we today also work with the government, with civil society on this, and we also support the Lebanese armed forces work for inclusion of women, together with UN Women and Lebanese armed forces. So that's a very, very inspiring program.
For sure. And the very...
should I... yeah, please.
Yes, no, please.
No, just on the conflict resolution, since you asked, and
we still have like 3 minutes.
Yes,
and a very short time left for us.
Okay, so just, yes, conflict resolution is important for my government. We have a special section in our foreign ministry about it, and we also support organizations here working on that, and I think also your government's approach to dialogue, political solutions is something my government very much supports. Yes, please.
Norway's involvement in United Nations peacekeeping operations. What can you tell us before you deliver your message to our Lebanese audience, Excellency?
Yes, as I mentioned, we had about 20,000 Norwegians that served in the UNIFIL peacekeeping mission in Lebanon over 20 years. So it's a lot of Norwegians who have very close relations and love for Lebanon from having lived here. And I mentioned some lost their lives during their service here for peace, but also several Norwegians married Lebanese women. So this also contributed to the very close relations between our two countries. So, yeah.
We have a lot of things, common ground to share
We
together.
we
Yes,
do,
yes.
we do. Yeah.
Excellency, Ambassador of Norway to Lebanon, what is your message to the Lebanese audience today who are watching you?
Thank you. I would like to say that I feel very, very privileged to be posted here and to be ambassador to Lebanon. It's a fantastic people and country. I think your people, the human resources, is the biggest strength of Lebanon. I think you have the nicest people in the world. I feel so welcomed here, but you also have fantastic nature. You have a cultural life. You have wonderful writers and music and also films, and so this is it is very inspiring. But we also know that Lebanon has been through so many multiple crises and wars over the years, and but we also know that this year started with a ceasefire, with a new president, an impressive new government, and my country, Norway, is very supportive of the efforts for reforms, for a peaceful solution for Lebanon and the region, and also we want to support the strengthening of the state and the institutions, its importance of supporting the Lebanese armed forces, and also the very vibrant civil society you have here. So it's really, I feel very privileged to serve here, and I'm also proud and very glad that we had actually 3 political visits from Norway to Lebanon this year. The foreign minister came, the Minister of Development Cooperation, and the Deputy Foreign Minister. So we have very close and positive relations, and I will really do my best during the coming time to strengthen those. So I'm very, very glad to be here, and thank you.
Thank you for giving me this interview, Ambassador Hildé. Until we meet again, for sure. I was really honored. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The pleasure was mine. شكرا كثير. Thank you.
مشاهدينا بريك صغير ونرجع لكم.